Hello, lovers of liberty. Today, we are joined on the wall by none other than my best friend and Black Boy Joy extraordinaire, Mvuyo Makhasi, who is also, by the way, an associate researcher for the NICD, which stands for, I've had to learn this as a prerequisite of our friendship, the National Institute for Communicable Disease.
Absolutely.
An associate researcher there, and you've played a big role in terms of the coronavirus, and that we'll talk about some other time. But welcome to the wall.
Thank you for having me.
The very first ever guest. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Mvuyo stays on the other side of the wall, so you know he is a lover of liberty as well as a defender of the wall.
Absolutely, you know, and I must say it's not every day or everyone has the opportunity to have their work, right, reflected on their wall. I mean, literally most of all these articles here are the work that you've done.
Do you not think it's a bit vain to have my writing up like that?
Not at all.
Some
I think that is important, right, to do. And like every time and often when people do work, it's often, you know, left or swept under the rug, right, and we are expected to be humble and not speak to our achievements. And I think this is for your personal glory and empowerment, most importantly. And we do hit a lot of like difficult moments in our lives, and sometimes having to reflect back on a distant memory of what you would have done, right, or have done previously. I think this is a powerful reminder of where you've been, where you are currently, and absolutely where you're going. So I love the wall. I think this it's also reflective of you, right? As someone who constantly raises the bar for us all.
Effortlessly.
I mean, right? I mean, because I know I've seen it up close and personal. But yeah, well done on this, Jimmy. It's truly inspirational also on my end. I'm like seeing, you know, and knowing, because I've been in this journey with you, and I think this was just like, wow, you know, you've done this, and there's just so much more to hope for.
Thank you so much. Speaking of so much more to hope for, those who are following us, lovers of liberty and joy, would know that we are big evangelists of Black Boy Joy, and we are starting a journey. I mean, not really starting, but we are starting to document what is our journey.
Officially.
With the handle. So you can follow us at Black Boy Joy Diaries.
Yes.
To follow our crazy moments together, including our trips.
Yes.
And so I just want to ask you on that, what Black Boy Joy or Black Boy Joyhood means for you.
I mean, sure, it's often very difficult to distill, right, in something very simple. I think...
Yeah, but personally,
yeah. So I think for me, just to speak, Nje, from the top of my head, is thinking about what joy really looks like, right, in black boys. I think, you know, knowing what we know about the patriarchal society and manhood in general, right? You know, sometimes we forget that even men, they were once boys, right? And there was that sense of innocence, of purity, of just like joyfulness before the world did its dirty job, I guess. And I think it's about reimagining what carrying that through your life and demonstrating that would mean in terms of just our own inner peace and happiness.
And what has it meant for you?
It has meant to, I think, to own that joy. I've always felt guilty, you know, as someone who had to work very hard, you know, for my family, for my own personal ambitions, that taking time to just enjoy the small pleasures in life, right, has always come with so much guilt. Guilt from the black tax and the responsibilities that I have towards my family, and also understanding that some of the things that I enjoy are also part of the privilege that I also have as a working or middle class black queer man, you know, which is quite different from some of my own family members. So it is about reclaiming that joy, and doing so comfortably and boldly, right? Because we deserve it.
I love that. I do agree that I think we live in a society where men are not allowed to be in touch with their emotions.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you know, if we know anything from sociologists about numbing our emotions, is even Brené Brown, I think there's a line from her famous TED talk that you cannot selectively numb emotion. Like you can't numb the bad things and only feel the good. You know, you need to feel everything.
Absolutely, right.
Right. Yeah, so I think I really I get what you mean by we, you know, not feeling guilty for experiencing emotion, and particularly joy. You know, like it's almost seen as a, for the lack of a better term, like a CC thing. Like masculinity is only celebrated when it's violent, when it's hard, when it's stern, and not when it's playful and
exactly. Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like, you know, we have a thing that we call black boy joy moments, right? Where we have so many of these, and sometimes it's important to call it out or name it and say this is actually a black boy joy moment.
Yes.
And that's because joy is so simple and so pure and something that's readily available, right? When you experience it and when you invest in it also. And I think, you know, what this whole movement or this journey for me has been was, you know, validating like those experiences as real, and not having to, you know, to pretend or put across a certain front. I can have a silly black boy joy moment and just share that, you know, as a way of owning that. And I think, wow, like I proudly embrace black boy joyhood.
I love that there's, I mean, it's almost a bit controversial to, but I believe this, and we've spoken about it quite a lot, that joy as a kind of political project. I know that sounds, I know people, it's like I'd roll my eyes at the immediate, you know, hearing of that. But I do think that black bodies, like you were talking, black boys, the particularly black bodies in general, we have been, you know, like we haven't, I don't know if we have the language and for experiencing joy and naming it and aspiring to having joyful moments and experiences. And I think we need to push that. We need to say that, I mean, you know, talking about human rights and dignity and good lives and equality, at the root of that is that we all want to experience a joyful life without being treated badly or violently.
You know, and I think as people who work so hard, right, who also put so much pressure on ourselves, right, I think it's important to when you find that moment of joy, whether you invest in it or it happens because of the company you keep or the experience that just happens, it's important for us to really be forgiving for putting that off. And I think a way of celebrating that is being aware of your of how deserving you are of joy. And I think sometimes it gets lost in the in this rat race, you know, of our lives and trying to make sense of our lives and where we are. So
but it's difficult to get to a point where you think I deserve this.
It is. It's very difficult. Yeah, but again,
especially given the inequalities that many people experience and the guilt that you were talking about becomes so apparent sometimes when you think of how other people don't have access to the things you're enjoying. So, you know, it then becomes difficult to justify why I deserve it and not other people.
That is true, but I suppose from a documentation perspective, you don't often find people documenting like moments of joy. Like it's always something that's either curated or an achievement or something that seems aspirational.
So you're talking about the
very small things, the simplest form of joy, whether it's just,
Can you make an example?
Enjoying. Like for instance, when we dance, you know, which I'm thinking about, we haven't done in a long time.
We haven't danced in a long time.
Actually, never mind going out, but just even in our own space, you know, just the joy and the happiness that you get from that, and you sharing that experience, and being able to also just relay that with anyone.
Or Snapchat,
right? And those are the kind of black boy joy moments.
Snapchat makes me happy.
That I think
feeling down, it's a good.
Exactly, and even as I'm someone who hasn't, you know, had the opportunities that I've had, but seeing that somewhere, that someone is just, you know, living their life in the simplest, you know, even in the grandest of schemes, but to really to be proud of the small joyful moments, as simple as dancing, as baking, or whatever the case might be. I think these are the what does Adam Phillips call it? The unforbidden pleasures, which are the small things like enjoying a cup of coffee in the morning, meditating, a phone call with your friend, all these small pleasures that are readily available, but we are so concerned about the forbidden pleasures, like finding someone, a hookup, or money, or all these things that require some kind of work and are not as readily available. And so Black Boy Joy also, I think, is about that, owning that the small unforbidden pleasures that life has, even in your own space. And I think creating those and sharing those could perhaps contribute to just how we feel about ourselves, or how we can see other people having those small moments of joy, and how we can apply those in our own lives.